Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my series of me trying to write an informative speech in 15 minutes a day. And yeah, let's see what is going to happen. So this is part 2 of this particular challenge quest that I have set for myself. So let me go to my share screen and show you what I am staring at. Last time that, kind of the last part of this, I went through kind of just the brainstorming kind of process that I have, and eventually ended up with various different specific purposes. And then I had to choose one based upon my few different considerations, who I'm talking to and what I'm trying to accomplish and what the assignment is, right? So yeah, who it is, what I'm talking to, and what I want to talk about. And that eventually led me to a significant or a specific purpose, which is going to be to inform my audience about the relationship Dungeons and Dragons has with the development of group and individual communication skills. That sounds super fun. I really like that because it gives me a lot of freedom. I can bring in a lot of different ideas. When I research it, I can kind of find things I like, but also ignore things I don't like. And also I can promote the game, which is super fun. All right. So then I went up to the creation of this outline, and I know I'm only supposed to be working on this 15 minutes per day, but I didn't think you wanted to watch me research. So I researched. And what I did was I went to different websites, and actually I started at the Columbia College Library. Going to those databases, I went to Academic One, and I went to LexisNexis, and I went to a couple others. And I put in Dungeons and Dragons and Education, Dungeons and Dragons and Mathematics, Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Thinking, and found a bunch of different articles and went through the different articles. And, well, I should say I gathered the articles first, right? And then I went somewhere and read through everything. And what I did was I kind of highlighted things I liked. And then we'll go from there. And I'll show you. And so what I did was I created this file. I called it my info notes. I don't know. And what these different numbers are is these are different source citations that I want to be using in my speech. Now, for the informative speech that's due in this class in a couple weeks, I'm aware that there's only 3 times that I have to cite. I have to use 3 sources, right? If I was a student, though, I think I'd probably cite more because 2 different reasons. First of all, yeah, I mean, really my read in academia is just that more evidence is usually better, right? I mean, particularly as you progress your way through different courses and up your education. I mean, really, I would argue that higher education is built around this reoccurring theme of a student or an instructor, there's evidence, and from evidence you extract claims and analysis, right? And so by putting in evidence into my speech, it allows me to make claims, it allows me to make analysis, and suddenly that turns it into what's called an argument in the field of argumentation. Versus if I don't have any evidence and it's just me writing, it's just a bunch of claims. Going, I think this, I like this, I experienced this, right? And that can work, but it's just not as strong, particularly in persuasive speaking. Let me go that way. All right, so what I have here is I have these different citations. So this would be the title. Maybe I'll bold that just to remind myself that that is the title of the article. Excuse me. Oh, we got the author, we have the date, and then I also have where it's from. And all this important information is going to be very important because I'm going to need to actually cite it in the speech. I don't know about the title of the articles. God, but I'm going to need to cite the author, the date, the location, and chances are I'm going to paraphrase the content, right? I don't think from this evidence I would want to actually use direct quotations, but instead I would want to be paraphrasing. All right, so it looks like I have these 4 different kind of things that I like, and usually what I do is on the very, so like I'm going to work with this piece right here. Usually what I do is I try to tag it. I try to kind of figure out from this piece of evidence, like, what is it saying? Like, what can I argue if this was the evidence? So if I was actually put this into quotations, and this is the thing I'm working with, right? What's the claim I can extract from it if I wanted to turn this into an actual argument? Right? What I mean by that, like argumentation, a field of debate. So if I actually had evidence that it was true that even when played without the goal of learning, these games of educational value and player variance with the Count Elder or the Cost of Dragons. So in other words, what this quotation's saying, what this author is saying here is that when you play Dungeons and Dragons, there's just lots of different possible games involved. So there we go. Scholars and educators. Well, I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't want to make the claim that everybody's saying that, but there are a wide range of games, wide range of intellectual challenges and problems that the Andy poses to players. All right, so I like doing that just because, you know, when I'm writing the speech, when I'm moving through other information, if I don't do that, oftentimes I'll forget exactly what this evidence is trying to say. Right. So, all right, so sometimes I'll do that kind of at the beginning of the as I'm extracting information. Sometimes I'll wait a couple of days and go back and kind of tease through. But that's what I do with my evidence. So going back to my outline. I kind of looked at my evidence and I was kind of looking at the body of my points. So this actually shouldn't be there. And I have, looks like 3 points I'm working with. Again, working on the body of the speech before I work on the introduction or the conclusion. And it looks like I want to be arguing or presenting in my speech, building my speech around a categorical organizational pattern in which I'm trying to show the audience that D&D has a relationship with the development of group and individual communication skills. However, I don't think my speech is actually about that. What I found is I think I can prove that in a point. I think at one point I have evidence that shows that when you play D&D that it links to communication skills. So I'm like, sweet. This piece of evidence is going to say that groups work together to solve problems. Players adopt a character. Players and the DM communicate to create a shared imaginary experience. And I think I want to insert here. All right, so I'm just going to remind myself that I want to have a piece of evidence right there that I think I already have, but just in case, don't know. But I actually found research that I liked in a different direction, and it was that, I mean, just like the problem, kinds of problems posed within Dungeons and Dragons actually requires a player to also consider philosophical or ethical dilemmas. Right. So here I'm going to have ethics. Actually, it's from the it would be from a notion of alignment. I need to describe alignment in the game. I think I need to provide an example of evil versus good, right? Because you can be evil or good, but you can also be this other thing, which is more about like chaotic or lawful, and it's kind of the relationship that your character has with systems. Yeah, this notion of, is there some sort of objective ethic that the character needs to kind of adhere to when they make decisions, or are they free to kind of break from that code or that system? Yes. Yep. So I got to do that. Is character lawful? I think, even though I think you're going to need an example of this in the game. Like player and captured. How about a captured goblin for right now? They capture the goblin, they interrogate the goblin. Do you torture the goblin, right? Do you kill the goblin? All those things. All right, so I've got the links to communication. I think I've also got links to philosophical perspectives or the issue of philosophy. Ooh, see where I'm going with this? Philosophy. So now I've got communication, I've got philosophy. It sounds to me like I actually want to make the argument that that my specific purpose isn't about the relationship that it has with the development of group or individual communication skills, even though that's going to be there. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that there because I think that's actually just, that requires group and communication skills. Yep, is the relationship he has with, I think skills, I think it's like the curriculum. It's course content. It's course content and the curriculum. As with the course content, okay, what do I want to think? I think where I'm going with this now is I want to say that, look, you can play D&D in college and it should be in classrooms. Not that it should be in classrooms, that's a persuasive speech, but I think that's the vibe. I want to say, like, look, it links to, third point. Oh, I think that kind of writes itself. Let's go to my evidence if I'm a little bit stumped. So here's my first piece of evidence. It says that role-playing, that there's a wide range of intellectual challenges and problems that D&D poses to players. All right. What if I think maybe I need to explain the game first. Because I don't know if I can make the argument that it links to group and individual communication skills at the same time I want to explain what it is. Okay, let's do that. I think so. It's just, it might be the first point. I think actually goes up here, that it's a communication experience. Describe what it is. Did I break it? I'm gonna go like that. And then here I can't just repeat myself in the second point. I have to say that they have to use those skills to solve the problems. Yep, I think that works. Yeah, I think that works. I think that's what I have to do. I think I broke my outline. There's a wide range of intellectual challenges D&D poses to players. Okay, so then if that goes here, that goes there, that goes away, that moved, that, I think I want this there. That kind of sets it up, right? Because now I'm like, now that you know what it is, there's a whole kinds of problems and things that are challenged, right? Okay. So I'm going to clean this up because I just need to have it cleaned up. That's just the way that I think. I don't like that. Okay. So, and I can also take out this claim because that's now the support for that. And this being the evidence, I could do that. Yep, I could do that. Maybe I want to remind myself that's evidence so that I don't get too, I'm not encouraged to pull any academic chicanery. I think I'll just italicize that. All right. But But I think, and then here, I think after I have evidence, I want to offer some analysis. So this is actually going to be there because this is all one, what's going to be called a block, right? If you notice the way that this evidence is being used to support this claim, and then I'm just going to offer some analysis here. So who's saying this? You're saying this. You're saying this stuff. And I should probably just show you how to clean this up right now. So I'm going to do that. This person said it on February 2020 from this place. Yeah. My info. Okay, there we go. That author said that. That author said that. That's their evidence. Yep. And what are they really trying to say? The author is indicating the wide range of scenarios. I'm going to use quandaries just because, I don't know, that sounds fun. Quandaries and other various this and that's. A player can find themselves as they explore the groups. Collective imagination. And then I think after that I need to provide some sort of example. Like, what do you mean by that? Example. And I don't think I want to have like all my examples be like this one time about me, I did, you know what I mean? So I think for this example, I'm going to pull something out from Critical Role. Critical Role is a, it's like a show where it's these voice actors that play Dungeons and Dragons, and you just watch them play Dungeons and Dragons. And they, you know, years ago they just playing, and now they're, you know, they're pretty influential in, you know, like geek culture, nerd culture, my culture. So I wanted to show that, right? And so, well, for example, in season 1, episode 17 of Critical Role, we understand that, you know, whatever. Yep. Okay. So I call this this kind of writing technique, what do I call it? I call it the 4 steps of citing a source. It's using it, well, I'd say it's using a supporting material in an outline. If you were in my face-to-face class, we would probably be going through the lecture where it would be preview, cite, interpret, right? So from a piece of evidence, which is called a source, you extract a supporting material, which I did here, which is a quotation. I then put it in the outline and I framed it with a claim, which is right here. And then here's the evidence right there. And then at some point I'm going to offer, oh, I offered my analysis, right? She's right here. All right. And then actually I could probably just go right into another one. Instead of just an example, here's the claim. Here's the little Benny one I'm going to do. This can be seen in a variety of examples, you know, or something like that. For example, or this can be seen. I hope that makes sense, right? But I mean, I think the main idea is whatever this claim is going to be here, right? There's my evidence is going to be there, and I can just follow up with another kind of outline piece, which is going to be the analysis. And I think that just as a closing piece, one kind of tip that why I really like this approach is I can always now keep this outline, and I'm always going to, or if I do it here, right, on my research briefs, right, I've got my claim, my evidence, and let's just say I wanted to offer my analysis. Or what I could also do is I could break this up, or maybe from this piece of evidence, there's going to be 2 claims. So maybe, right? So here's actually going to be another claim. That when the team maximizes character building, and my claim is going to be here is, I don't know, I'm just like, the game, team max, right, so here's the team promotes team skills versus here, this is more about the player. So now I could actually use this in 2 different citations, right? And then maybe in an outline, I'm going to have some analysis here and use this block someplace and then use this block someplace else. It just kind of helps with writing. It's really easy to just shove this information to outlines, and it's really easy to save so that if you're ever taking another class, right, you always now have evidence that supports this argument you want to make that says that there's a wide range of intellectual challenges and problems that D&D poses to players. So I've just found it to be really, really helpful as I wrote my master's thesis or as I wrote my PhD and needed to collect information as I went. Okay? Well, that's my timer. All right, well, I hope all is well. So where we are right now is I'm probably building the speech. Yep, and what's my third point going to be? My third point's going to be, I'll just make it super English. English in writing. There we go. So now it's not going to be across the curriculum, has with the development the skills development associated with humanities. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. I mean, I think my thesis is going to be, hey, Dungeons and Dragons actually like makes you a smarter person as a liberal arts student or something like that. I don't know. I'm working on it. But again, I don't need to have my thesis yet. I just need to have my specific purpose. But anyways, I'm out of time. So, yep, this is part 2. We'll see what happens next time. All right. Bye, guys.